Welcome to the cultivation universe where everything abnormal is normal. And today's main character, Bai Xiaochun, is living proof. A young man who fears death more than the sky falling. A genius whose main talent is causing trouble. And also the only person who can make the entire sect want to beat him, protect him, and avoid him as much as possible. A will eternal, a cultivation story full of laughter. But beneath it is the emotional journey of a seemingly useless person who carries within him a will that can shake heaven and earth. If you want a story that's addictive from the first listen, humorous, touching, and extremely captivating, then this is the perfect choice. Now let's embark on a journey where just one thought is enough to shake eternity. For the next few days, the corpses were no longer being sucked dry, and no one paid attention to it anymore. However, during these days, every time Bai Xiaochun went out, his whole body was covered in talismans, attracting everyone's attention, especially Subeokai and his group, who were all astonished and asked for the reason. Bai Xiaochun couldn't help but reveal that there were demons in the Reverse River sect. This frightened Subeokai and his group, who tried to imitate Bai Xiaochun, sticking a bunch of exorcism talismans on themselves. But compared to Bai Xiaochun, their talismans were far too few. Bai Xiaochun's talismans were all high-level talismans. Except for his face, the rest of his body was covered in talismans. Anyone who saw him would be left speechless. Chu Xinqi, Guya, Songqiu Judao, and the whole group were stunned by Bai Xiaochun. One afternoon, Bai Xiaochun met Gongsun Wanner. Brother Xiaochun, what is this? Gongsun Wanner was also dumbfounded by Bai Xiaochun's outfit. Ah, Sister Gongsun. Bai Xiaochun looked at Gongsun Wanner, then glanced around before approaching. I'll tell you something, but don't tell anyone else. There are demons in our Reverse River sect. That's why I put up so many exorcism talismans. Gongsun Wanner was dumbfounded, scrutinizing Bai Xiaochun, then the pile of talismans, even reaching out to touch them. She then suppressed a laugh and promised not to tell anyone else. Bai Xiaochun was very pleased and continued wandering around. The story of demons and ghosts in the Reverse River sect gradually spread, and by the time the sect's elders learned of it, they could no longer suppress it. All they could do was look at Bai Xiaochun and smile wryly. He's already formed a golden core, and yet he's still afraid of ghosts. And if they're just spirits, then those talismans of Bai Xiaochun's are useless anyway. The elders shook their heads, ignoring Bai Xiaochun. In the following days, there were no more incidents of corpses being drained dry, and Bai Xiaochun felt at ease. HMPH, demons and ghosts, suppressed by my Bai Xiaochun's evil repelling protective robe, have all vanished into thin air. I've once again protected the sect. Who told me I was the young ancestor of the Reverse River sect? For the disciples of the sect, I've done so much for them that no one knows about. Bai Xiaochun sat cross-legged in his cave dwelling, sighing. It was late at night. He took a deep breath, intending to enter meditation. But suddenly, ripples appeared on the ground around him. These ripples were very strange. As soon as they appeared, they seemed to completely isolate the space around him, and a faint cold air spread from somewhere. The sudden event startled Bai Xiaochun, who then shouted, leaping up and slapping his storage bag. Immediately, numerous exorcism talismans appeared in his hand. Get away! Don't come any closer! I'm very powerful. I have exorcism talismans. I have hundreds of them plastered all over my body. Bai Xiaochun trembled. From his storage bag, a red light shot out. It was the mask he wore when he transformed into Night Burial. The mask vibrated, its frequency matching the ripples on the ground. Then an old voice rang out, whether from the mask or from the ripples on the ground, it was unclear. You what? Bai Xiaochun yelled, throwing out all the talismans in his hand, using all his heavenly Tao golden core cultivation to activate them, sealing talismans, exorcism talismans, suppression talismans, all kinds. The trembling mask, covered in a mass of talismans, exploded with a deafening roar, severing its connection to the ripples beneath the ground. The mask fell, and the ripples dissipated, everything returning to normal. Bai Xiaochun broke out in a cold sweat, only now remembering that it wasn't a ghost that had appeared, but the mysterious force behind the mask. The Night Burial imposter also flew out of the mask, looking at Bai Xiaochun and trembling as he cried out, "They've arrived! They've come! It's over! It's really over! Bai Xiaochun!" Take the immortal artifact and run. The mysterious force has come to find us. We're doomed. They show no mercy to traitors. We might be skinned alive, dismembered and torn apart. The night burial imposter cried out miserably, utterly terrified. Shut up! Bai Xiaochun was annoyed and roared in anger and fear. He felt guilty, because after all, he had already obtained the little turtle. Damn it, I'm not wearing that mask anymore. Why are they still coming to find me? Bai Xiaochun was furious, grabbing the mask to throw it away, but then felt regretful. The soul of the night burial imposter was still inside the mask. If he threw it away, it would be like deceiving the night burial imposter. Bai Xiaochun, what should we do now? The night burial imposter wanted to cry, asking Bai Xiaochun. Bai Xiaochun looked dejected, glaring at the other man, trying to think. If there really was no solution, the only option was to take the mask to the ancestors. It's a pity this is truly a treasure that can change my appearance. Bai Xiaochun's heart was in turmoil. Fortunately, for the next half-month, the mask didn't show any further abnormalities, and Bai Xiaochun felt a little relieved. The construction of the mountain gate by the Gita sect is almost complete, nearing its end. The establishment of rules for managing the lower realm of cultivation was complete. Within the sect, with a 200-year time limit, each lineage would take turns governing. The selection of the sect leader was also done in a similar manner. The first would be from the Lingxi lineage. Zhan Yuandong, who was the current Lingxi lineage leader, would become the leader of the Net sect. Although his cultivation level wasn't high enough, his background and lineage were sufficient. Zhan Yuandong agreed to sacrifice his future, refraining from further cultivation breakthroughs, remaining in the core formation realm, and preparing Li Qingou to become the second sect leader of the Net sect 100 years later. 200 years later, it would be the turn of the Zhuangxi lineage to become the sect leader, followed by the Zhuangxi lineage, and finally the Dengxi lineage. One day, the final mountain gate was completed. The Blood Ancestor and the Void Dong Evil Tree stood guard on either side, surrounded by 4 mountain ranges, and the sect's protective formation was activated. Everything was finished. The number of people in the Reverse River sect today has reached nearly 1 million, creating an extremely lively atmosphere. The founding ceremony has also been scheduled, and numerous invitations have been sent in all directions. This celebration will last for 7 days. The Star River Academy, the Dao River Academy, and the Extreme River Academy all sent representatives to offer congratulations, and no family that received an invitation dared not attend. The 4 newly established major sects of the lower reaches of the cultivation world also respectfully brought gifts. For these 7 days, the main topic of discussion in the middle reaches of the cultivation world revolved around the founding ceremony of the Reverse River sect. Bai Xiaochun, the young ancestor of the Reverse River sect, held a noble status and attracted much attention. His elaborate attire and dazzling image made him even more intoxicated with his own image, causing the elders and Li Qingou to worrying about him revealing some unusual personality traits. Everyone was tense and anxious. Fortunately, he chose to show off his power and arrogance, radiating a fierce aura wherever he went, frightening everyone. Yet, this pleased the elders. Bai Xiaochun was very pleased. 7 days later, the founding ceremony concluded, the envoys from various sects departed, and the Reverse River sect returned to normal. The Reverse River sect officially faced its biggest problem. That is, the Reverse River sect had no heavenly human realm experts. The other 3 major sects in the middle region all had heavenly human realm ancestors presiding over them, which was considered a fitting title, and this was the Reverse River sect's fatal flaw. Only now did Bai Xiaochun realize that in the cultivation system of the Tongshan world, after the Cha condensation, foundation establishment, core formation, and nascent soul stages, was the heavenly human realm. The heavenly human realm was terrifying. It was a level that had reached the point of merging with heaven and earth. When they attacked, they no longer relied on their own strength, but could borrow the power of all things in heaven and earth. The suppression and divine abilities created by the power of heaven and earth were incomparable to those of nascent soul cultivators. In the entire Tongshan River's eastern central region, there were originally only 4 heavenly human realm cultivators, 1 in each major sect. But now only 3 remained because the heavenly human of the Kong Academy had died. A single heavenly human realm cultivator was enough to sweep across an entire sect. For a sect like the Nith sect, if a heavenly human realm cultivator attacked, the Nith sect would surely be annihilated. Even if Bai Xiaoqun controlled the blood ancestor and the void evil tree intervened, the outcome wouldn't change unless the true spirit awakened again. But the only reverse river pill had already been used. Therefore, while the reverse river sect appears powerful, it completely lacks peak combat power. Currently, among the ancestors, only 3 are most likely to advance to the heavenly human realm: Feng Shenzi, Han Zong, and Qi Han. After the grand ceremony, Feng Shenzi and Qi Han went into seclusion, as did the other ancestors. Everyone wants to reach the heavenly human realm while they are still alive. In the entire eastern branch of the Tongshan River, including the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect, the number of heavenly humans doesn't exceed 2 hands, showing how powerful and rare heavenly humans are. After the nascent soul stage comes the heavenly human realm. Although their lifespan isn't equal to that of heaven and earth, they can utilize the power of heaven and earth. Their strength is inexhaustible, and their combat power can completely sweep across an entire cultivation world. The first patriarch of Lin Ke, Han Zong, summoned Bai Xiaoqun and spoke softly. Therefore, from today, I will go into seclusion. I want to enter the heavenly human realm. What is above the heavenly human realm? Bai Xiaoqun asked. Above the heavenly human realm is the demigod realm. Han Zong was silent for a moment before answering. This realm, even just mentioning it, would cause the heavens and earth to change color. The demigod realm, no words can describe it. Perhaps the truth is just like the name suggests, it is half a god. Han Zong murmured, clearly knowing very little about demigods. In the entire Eastern Meridian cultivation world, there is only one demigod in the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect. It is because of his existence that the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect has become a leading sect. Bai Xiaoqun's eyes widened. What about above the demigod realm? I don't know. Han Zong shook his head, not continuing the topic, and opened his right hand, 3 halos of light appearing in his palm. Among them were a scroll, a scale, and a small knife. The scroll exuded an aura of ancientness, as if countless years had passed. The scale was quite large, its origin unknown. The knife, upon closer inspection, didn't resemble a knife at all, but rather a black horn. The 9 provinces map, a supreme earth-grade treasure, capable of containing countless things. If refined and enslaved, it can activate rapid short-distance teleportation. The ancient demon scale, a supreme earth-grade treasure unbreakable by a nascent soul. Unfortunately, there's only 1 piece. Otherwise, it would be enough to make armor, and even a nascent soul wouldn't be able to do anything to you. And this knife is the reverse dragon horn, also a supreme earth-grade treasure. It can transform into a reverse dragon, incredibly powerful. All of these are for me. Bai Xiaoqun stared wide-eyed at the 3 items, his heart pounding, and swallowed hard. Each of these 3 items stirred his heart. You are the young ancestor of our reverse river sect, and from now on you will represent the sect when you go out. Of course, these 3 supreme treasures are for you. Get used to them, and bring glory to our reverse river sect in the future. Han Zong smiled. Bai Xiaoqun's importance to the reverse river sect was unparalleled, and since they were all about to go into seclusion, they had discussed and decided to give Bai Xiaoqun 3 supreme treasures for his self-defense. Bai Xiaoqun excitedly thanked him and immediately took them. Han Zong coughed. I have to go into seclusion. A senior will come to find you later. You can stay here. Oh, by the way, this is a cultivation technique for you after forming the golden core. This technique has a mysterious origin. It was once a secret technique of the Han sect. Han Zong's expression was strange as he threw Bai Xiaoqun a jade slip and then disappeared. Senior, Bai Xiaoqun was stunned. He took the jade slip, looked up, but Han Zong was already gone. Could there be another reward? Bai Xiaoqun became increasingly excited as he thought about it. He felt that the sect was being too good to him, and soon an elder would come to give him something good. He immediately stood up straight, adjusting his posture to be proper and serious. He thought to himself that with this appearance, the elder would surely be very pleased. After waiting for a long time, Bai Xiaoqun was about to lose patience when he suddenly felt a strange sensation. It seemed as if someone was staring at him from behind. Instinctively, he turned around, and Bai Xiaoqun's eyes widened. Behind him, a rabbit had appeared. The rabbit wasn't standing on all four legs, but clearly on its two hind legs, its two front legs clasped behind its back like a human, staring at Bai Xiaochun. Its eyes were red, its ears perked up, and its gaze was filled with a strange, melancholic expression. Overall, it looked comical, yet also somewhat extraordinary. Bai Xiaochun took a deep breath and stepped back a few paces. Some might not know this rabbit, but how could Bai Xiaochun not? He recognized it at a glance. It was that damned parrot-like rabbit. Since that day outside the mighty city, when he saw the rabbit and the monkey, Bai Xiaochun had felt something unusual. Now, seeing the rabbit again, he felt even more uneasy. He cautiously clasped his hands together. "Disciple greets, senior." The rabbit snorted. It no longer uttered those parrot-like words. Bai Xiaochun should have been happy about that, but now it only made him feel more uneasy. "Senior." Bai Xiaochun became even more nervous and took a few more steps back. "Bai Xiaochun, you chased after me back then. Had a lot of fun, didn't you? But this old man, didn't bother to argue with you." The rabbit spoke indifferently, its tone very condescending. "This time I've come to find you to test whether those supreme treasures of yours are effective or not." The rabbit glared, its lips curling into a terrifying sneer. Bai Xiaochun screamed and, without hesitation, retreated and fled. The rabbit immediately chased after Bai Xiaochun, raising its leg and kicking him. Bai Xiaochun screamed, sent flying into the air, and immediately used all his speed to escape. "Murderer! The rabbit is a murderer!" "Ancestor, save me, save me!" Bai Xiaochun screamed as he ran frantically. Everyone saw a rabbit chasing after him at incredible speed, relentlessly kicking and stomping on Bai Xiaochun, tormenting him while laughing gleefully. "Scream! The louder you scream, the more delighted I am. Do you remember how you chased and assaulted me before? Damn it, I fled all the way to the 10,000 Snake Valley, and you still tried to find me. I had to run to the Bloodstream sect to escape you, and yet you bastard, you also came to the Bloodstream sect." The rabbit shrieked, its eyes blazing red. Gradually, many cultivators from the Bloodstream sect and the Spirit Stream sect recognized the rabbit, and everyone exclaimed in surprise, "It's the parrot rabbit. Why is it here?" And it stopped parroting. Bai Xiaochun felt extremely wronged. He used all the power of his heavenly Tao golden core and immortal diamond body, rushing forward at incredible speed, but he still couldn't outrun the rabbit. The rabbit's kicks were incredibly cunning, targeting the most vulnerable and painful spots on Bai Xiaochun's body. Bai Xiaochun cried out in pain, tears welling up in his eyes. He tried to take out his 3 supreme treasures, but the rabbit didn't give him time. It accelerated, kicking him repeatedly. It was outrageous, because now the rabbit was aiming its kicks at his face. Bai Xiaochun was furious. He realized the rabbit was preventing him from taking the treasures to get revenge for the past humiliation he had inflicted upon it. "Why are you blaming me? You're the one who chose to parrot my techniques." You're being too much of a bully," Bai Xiaochun yelled. "Do you think I enjoy parroting? Damn it, it would have been better if you hadn't said anything. You. It's all your fault." The rabbit was furious, kicking incessantly and cursing Bai Xiaochun non-stop. "It's all your fault, especially that first time. You only said half a sentence and then stopped. Do you know how much it almost drove me crazy? Let me tell you, Bai Xiaochun, from now on, if I parrot you again, you have to finish the sentence before you stop. Understand?" The rabbit became increasingly angry, kicking and stomping faster and faster. Bai Xiaochun was in pain all over, roaring loudly. "Murder! Murder! Who will save me? I am the young ancestor of the Reverse River sect. I shed blood for the Reverse River sect. Ancestor, save me!" No matter how much Bai Xiaochun roared, none of the nascent soul cultivators showed up, making Bai Xiaochun even more miserable. "You rabbit, you're bullying me too much. What if I only said half a sentence? If I hadn't only said half a sentence, and you had learned the whole sentence, I would have lost my life. I like to say half sentences, and from now on, I'll always only say half sentences. Now I'm going to say." "What's the next sentence of Bai Xiaochun's? Tell me quickly, what's the next sentence of Bai Xiaochun's?" Bai Xiaochun, cornered, roared. The rabbit trembled, its eyes becoming hazy, frozen, in midair. "Bai Xiaochun, he cried out, not only startling Bai Xiaochun, but also stunning the onlookers who had gathered around. Everyone looked at the rabbit, realizing it was clearly not well. The rabbit had lowered all four legs to the ground like a normal rabbit. Its ears perked up, and its mouth kept repeating those words. Tell me, what was the next sentence from me, Bai Xiaochun? Bai Xiaochun stopped running. Bai Xiaochun. The rabbit, impatient and anxious, cried out. Tell me quickly. Bai Xiaochun, excited, took a few steps closer, extremely thrilled. He had found the rabbit's weakness and immediately pressed it. Bai Xiaochun. The rabbit's eyes turned bloodshot. Its fur stood on end, its face full of anxiety. Pressed by Bai Xiaochun, it panicked, let out a loud roar, turned around, and fled frantically, continuously spewing out all sorts of information, including stories about the Crimson Soul ancestor, startling those around it. Crimson Soul couldn't help but rush out to chase the rabbit, but the rabbit was too fast and disappeared in an instant. Bai Xiaochun now understood that this rabbit was mentally unstable, sometimes good, sometimes bad. When it was good, it would become a demon, but its mind was clearly severely damaged. He only needed to ask that question again, and the other party would completely collapse. So that's it, haha, little rabbit, you dare to challenge me, Bai Xiaochun. Let's see if you dare to provoke me again. Bai Xiaochun breathed a sigh of relief and turned away, seeing the Crimson Soul ancestor returning from afar, glaring at him. Bai Xiaochun recoiled and hurried back to his cave dwelling. Why blame me, who told you all not to run out and stop it, letting your young ancestor be assaulted by this rabbit? Bai Xiaochun rubbed his face, thinking it was better to stay indoors. He didn't know where that rabbit had run off to, and who knew what it might say that shouldn't have. And then there's Taidan. I don't know where he's run off to. I haven't seen him for days. He must be up to some mischief again. Using his special connection with Taidan, Bai Xiaochun felt he wasn't in any danger, so he dismissed him and didn't pay any more attention. Well, since I formed the Heavenly Tao Golden Core, I haven't cultivated properly. Now's a good opportunity to go into seclusion. Bai Xiaochun sealed his cave dwelling and began his seclusion. After some time, Bai Xiaochun opened his eyes. In this month, he had further solidified his cultivation, and his cultivation had improved somewhat. He potted his storage bag and took out a jade slip. This jade slip was black and rather ugly in appearance, but it felt icy cold in his hand. It was the cultivation method jade slip given to him by the Han sect. Bai Xiaochun scanned it with his divine consciousness. Han sect cultivation technique. This cultivation method also requires the water of the Tongshan River, but it's not about devouring it, but rather about changing its structure, dividing it into two types, cold and thought, using the method to condense cold, and using cold to nourish thought. Once perfected, with just a single thought, everything around will be frozen. So what is thought? Bai Xiaochun became increasingly astonished as he read. Mindfulness, that is, reaching the ultimate level of control, creating a strange kind of power. It is when control and consciousness merge that true power is formed. Death energy controls the peak, cultivating control. Death energy reaches the heavens, condensing control into the technique, preliminarily completing the fusion of control and consciousness. The cold gates cultivation of mindfulness is the fusion of control and consciousness, then activated, forming true mindfulness, and then nurtured. Bai Xiaochun clutched the jade slip tightly. By now, he understood that the cultivation methods of the Lingxi sect were divided into many levels, but the common goal of all was a single word, mindfulness. My pulling and pushing force can also be achieved through mindfulness and succeed. Mindfulness, Bai Xiaochun murmured, looking at a small stone in the cave. He tried not to use any divine abilities, only imagining the stone flying through his mind. Suddenly, the small rock trembled. Although it didn't fly up, it only vibrated in place, but it still filled Bai Xiaochun with joy. It took him half a day to suppress the excitement in his heart. Thinking of the immortal longevity technique, he closed his eyes and thought of the third volume of the immortal technique he had obtained from the blood ancestors' inheritance. Immortal tendons. Tendons are the root of speed. The strength of tendons allows a person to be extremely flexible, unleashing speed to its peak. Speed itself also increases strength. The same punch, but with normal speed and with incredible speed, is completely different. The special thing about immortal tendons is that, with extreme speed, it not only increases the explosive power of the body but also contains some kind of mysterious divine ability of the immortal technique. This divine ability is hidden within the punch and kick techniques. Each strike creates a forbidden spell. This forbidden spell can seal everything. The first 2 volumes of the immortal cultivation technique focus on cultivating physical strength to its peak, while the 3rd volume, in addition to making the body incredibly strong, also contains mystical divine abilities. Immortal Forbiddance Technique. Bai Xiaochun's eyes lit up. The divine ability of the 3rd volume of the immortal cultivation technique is similar to the throat-shattering lock and the mountain-shattering charge. Unlike the first 2 volumes, the immortal body technique doesn't divide into levels, but focuses solely on the refinement of the entire body. It's divided into limbs, torso, and head. If one successfully refines all of them in turn, they achieve great mastery. After carefully studying the cold gate cultivation technique and the immortal muscle, Bai Xiaochun was filled with anticipation for the future. Although he didn't know how much lifespan he had gained, he thought it was at least over 1,000 years, and he was extremely excited. He patiently endured the monotony of cultivation, practicing both the cold gate cultivation technique and the immortal muscle. Regarding the immortal muscle, Bai Xiaochun pondered for a long time before deciding to cultivate the big toe of his left foot first. Cultivating from the top of the tree is the most reliable. Bai Xiaochun nodded, imagining himself raising his foot and causing someone to cry out in pain, feeling very satisfied and thinking his decision was indeed correct. Only a fool would choose their fingers. What's so useful about fingers? Everyone's wary of them, but when danger arises, you can't use your fingers to escape. But toes are different. Not only can they launch surprise attacks, but they can also be used to press down hard on the ground, increasing your escape speed. As long as you're alive, everything is possible. Bai Xiaochun felt incredibly wise and heroic, and couldn't help but sigh. He really wanted to look in the mirror and admire himself, but after looking around, he realized there wasn't a single mirror in his cave dwelling. How can this be? Why is there no mirror? Bai Xiaochun was really disappointed. He suddenly remembered that when he killed the woman from the Void River Academy, there seemed to be a mirror in her storage bag. So he opened his storage bag again and took out a palm-sized round mirror. Bai Xiaochun examined it for a while, feeling happy. This mirror wasn't an ordinary mirror, but a magical artifact. Of course, it couldn't compare to his 3 magical artifacts, but it could still form a Dharma body. However, the Dharma body had no combat power, only serving to deceive and mislead. It's all right. Bai Xiaochun stroked the mirror, and after a long while, he let out a soft sigh. He held the mirror close and looked closely, opening his 3rd eye. Bai Xiaochun looked for a while, then closed his 3rd eye and pondered. Even that girl probably doesn't know this. The greatest use of this mirror isn't creating a Dharma body, but nurturing the soul. Bai Xiaochun was very surprised, because through his heaven-penetrating Dharma eye, he sensed a similar vibration within the mirror to the mysterious mask. Although the material was different, the function was basically the same. Bai Xiaochun put the mirror aside and continued cultivating. Half a month passed. One night, while Bai Xiaochun was cultivating, he suddenly felt goosebumps all over his body and opened his eyes wide. The ground around him rippled again. These ripples appeared at an extremely fast speed, instantly covering the entire cave dwelling. A chilling aura enveloped the surroundings, completely isolating the cave dwelling from the outside world. A red light flashed in his storage bag, the mask flew out, and a mournful, hurried voice rang out. "Don't!" Bai Xiaochun didn't hesitate for a moment. Before the other party could even utter a single word, he pulled out a pile of talismans and threw them all out. A loud shout rang out from within the mask, but then quickly fell silent. The mask fell to the ground, and the ripples on the ground disappeared. The fake night burial soul flew out again, trembling with fear. "Oh no, they're coming again. What do we do now? What should we do now?" Bai Xiaochun was also terrified. If he had been a little slower just now, and this place had been completely isolated, he would have been in danger. The ghosts won't disperse. Bai Xiaochun gritted his teeth. "Fake night burial, I'll change your dwelling place. You must cooperate with me, otherwise I'll throw both you and the mask into the Tongshan River for the fish to eat." The fake night burial soul trembled, intending to say something, But seeing Bai Xiaochun's menacing expression, he fell silent and nodded in fear. I don't believe it. I even managed to manipulate that old rabbit. Surely I can manipulate this little mask. Bai Xiaochun sneered, taking out a mirror. He formed a hand seal, pointed at the mask, and the night burial imposter cried out in pain. Bai Xiaochun glared at him, and he immediately covered his mouth, not daring to cry out again. Bai Xiaochun focused intently, opening his third eye. Under the heaven-penetrating Dharma eye, he saw a golden light, like a thread, connecting the night burial imposter's soul to the mask. Bai Xiaochun swung his hand and slashed at the thread. Break! The thread vibrated. It was very flexible and difficult to cut, but under the influence of the heavenly Tao's aura, it couldn't last long and dissolved, breaking in two. The night burial imposter had escaped the mask, but immediately, a force seemed to appear in the void, pulling him away. The night burial imposter screamed, and Bai Xiaochun, stunned, quickly grabbed the round mirror nearby and threw it, sucking the night burial imposter's soul into the mirror. Bai Xiaochun panted heavily, staring intently at the mask. He took out all the runes, pasted them all onto the mask, and applied all the few restrictions he knew, layering them onto the mask. He even added his own seal before finally feeling at ease. Let's see if you can still cause trouble, Bai Xiaochun said triumphantly, putting away the mask, feeling satisfied, and continued his cultivation. Another half-month passed. During this half-month, the mask didn't cause any trouble, and Bai Xiaochun's cultivation had progressed. He even managed to find time to study the reverse river pill. Another half-month later, Bai Xiaochun was truly restless. I've already reached the golden core stage, which is very powerful. I need to combine cultivation with leisure. I can't just focus on cultivation all the time. The more Bai Xiaochun thought about it, the more reasonable it seemed, so he ended his seclusion, opened his cave dwelling, and went outside. Breathing in the fresh air, Bai Xiaochun looked around, his hands clasped behind his back as he strolled aimlessly. It's been so long since I last saw Sister Song. I really missed her. Thinking of Song Junwan's alluring appearance, Bai Xiaochun's heart warmed, and he decided to go find her. Passing by the Zhuangzi sect, a very beautiful female disciple suddenly ran out from within, her face flushed, rushing towards Bai Xiaochun. She bit her lip and shyly handed him a piece of paper. Cultivators usually communicate using jade slips. This kind of handwritten note is rarely seen anymore, so Bai Xiaochun was stunned. He lowered his head to look at the paper in his hand, seeing a heart drawn on the cover. This is... Bai Xiaochun's eyes widened, his body trembling with excitement. A love letter. Several disciples passing by saw Bai Xiaochun and the letter in his hand. This letter was indeed a love letter. Bai Xiaochun received a love letter, and none of them were surprised. Instead, they looked at him with congratulations and admiration. Bai Xiaochun trembled as he held the love letter, his heart pounding, his eyes wide with excitement. This is the first love letter I've ever received in my life. Before, I only received challenge letters. Bai Xiaochun was so moved he wanted to cry. He took a deep breath, looked up, and gazed affectionately at the bewildered girl who had delivered the letter and run off into the distance. Although I don't know your name, this is the first love letter I, Bai Xiaochun, have ever received. So I will definitely keep this letter safe so that future generations can see how our ancestor was so magnificent and captivating back then. Bai Xiaochun was filled with endless emotion, feeling that he should always remain wholeheartedly loyal to the Reverse River sect. I love the Reverse River sect. I love all my fellow disciples. Bai Xiaochun tried to control his emotions, carefully put away the letter, then tilted his chin, flicked his sleeve, and was about to leave when he saw. From afar, another female disciple of the Zhuangzi sect bit her lip hesitantly, then resolutely ran up to him, head bowed, face flushed, hastily thrust the letter in her hand into his, and then ran away. Bai Xiaochun was stunned, surprised to see the second letter in his hand. The envelope didn't have a heart shape, but instead depicted two small figures holding hands. It wasn't just Bai Xiaochun who was surprised. The surrounding disciples watching the commotion were also astonished. It's not unusual for the young master to receive love letters, but I didn't expect to receive two at once. Su Xiaoshan, am so handsome and refined. Why has no one ever sent me a love letter? Bai Xiaochun's eyes welled up. His whole body trembled slightly, overwhelmed with emotion. This is the second love letter I've ever received in my life. I never expected to receive two love letters today. Bai Xiaojun was extremely excited, trying to breathe normally, watching the girl walk away and carefully putting away the second letter. I can't be selfish. Since becoming the sect's young master, I no longer belong to myself. I belong to the sect, to all my fellow disciples, including all the female disciples. Bai Xiaojun decided not to go looking for Song Zhengwan anymore, but instead turned towards the Zhuangzi lineage. He hadn't gone far when a third female disciple hurried over, shyly handing him a letter. Then came the fourth, fifth, sixth. In just 2 or 3 hours, Bai Xiaojun received more than 10 love letters, all handwritten and full of affection. The curious disciples following him cheered incessantly. Oh my God, again. Why are they all love letters? Are these people blind? Even though I'm not a young master, I'm still a prodigy. Bai Xiaojun was also bewildered. He was excited by the first few letters, but now there were more than 10. He really couldn't believe it. Am I really that outstanding? Bai Xiaojun felt dizzy. When he left the Zhuangzi sect and passed by the Dangxi sect, several female disciples from the Dangxi sect ran out, shyly throwing love letters at him. Someone was so creative. They even gifted Bai Xiaojun a pill with a bunch of characters engraved on it. By late afternoon, Bai Xiaojun returned to Reverse River Mountain, completely overwhelmed by the sudden happiness. He hadn't even had time to prepare himself. It must be because I'm too outstanding, haha, it's charm, right? I told you, only with boundless charm can you enjoy such treatment. Bai Xiaojun chuckled foolishly as he returned to his cave dwelling, sat down cross-legged, and couldn't help but pull out the pile of love letters, opening each one to read. Bai Xiaojun trembled, his face flushed, spending the entire night reading them, rereading each one many times until dawn. As soon as it was light, Bai Xiaojun immediately stood up, his face bright and cheerful, straightened his clothes, and hurried out the door. Then he retreated inside, pondered for a moment, and put on the Taoist robe of the young ancestor. This Taoist robe was incredibly luxurious, made of soft, flowing blue silk, embroidered with 5 lifelike golden dragons. As he walked, the 5 dragons seemed to circle around him, and the robe emitted a strange light, making Bai Xiaojun look very majestic and heroic. Bai Xiaojun had only worn this robe for 7 days during the sect's founding ceremony, after which he found it uncomfortable and put it away. But now, wearing it again and looking in the mirror, he felt exceptionally handsome, unmatched by anyone, and chuckled with delight as he went outside. Throughout the day, he maintained a slightly upturned chin posture, walking around all 4 branches of the sect. His attire attracted the attention of all the disciples of the Reverse River sect. The love letter from yesterday had already spread, and coupled with Bai Xiaojun's appearance today, everyone who saw him had a strange look on their faces. The male disciples looked at him strangely, but the female disciples' eyes lit up. Therefore, in just half an hour, Bai Xiaojun was once again excitedly receiving love letters. The Zhuangzi lineage, the Dangxi lineage, and even the Zhuangzi lineage kept rushing to shove love letters at him. This scene was extremely demoralizing for the male disciples. This left many people in awe. What's going on? Heavens, the sect leader has received over 100 love letters in just 2 days. He's gone crazy, completely insane. Bai Xiaojun was excited, trying his best to control himself, maintaining a gentle demeanor and smiling at all the female disciples who gave him love letters. The disciples were buzzing with whispers, and Bai Xiaojun's heart was blooming with joy. For several consecutive days afterward, Bai Xiaojun did the same thing every day, walking around collecting love letters during the day and reading them at night. This news spread far and wide, reaching throughout the sect. Every day, everyone's conversations revolved around Bai Xiaojun. Su Baokai and Zhang Dapen were incredibly envious, while Hou Xiaomei and Song Zhengwan frowned. 371 letters. Haha, it's only been a few days, and I've already received 371 love letters. Bai Xiaojun sat in his cave dwelling, excitedly looking at the pile of love letters. Am I really that outstanding? Bai Xiaojun was ecstatic, holding the mirror and looking at himself up and down. The more he admired himself, the more delighted he became, wanting to find someone to share his joy with. Bronze Mirror, tell me, in this entire Reverse River sect, who is the most outstanding person? The fake night burial in the bronze mirror fell silent, pretending to be unconscious. He had heard Bai Xiaochun say this countless times these past few days, and he was truly terrified, too scared to answer, afraid of giving a bad answer and being punished. Don't think I don't know you're awake, bronze mirror, tell me or not. Bai Xiaochun glared and shouted. The fake night burial quickly sprang up and replied, Master, you are the most outstanding person in the reverse river sect. You're lying. Bai Xiaochun glared. The fake night burial trembled with fear at the reprimand. I'm not lying, I swear I'm telling the absolute truth. You are the most outstanding person in the entire Tongshan continent, the most outstanding, not just one of the outstanding. Jia Yizhang wanted to cry. Really? Bai Xiaochun blinked. It's all true. Jia Yizhang now understood Bai Xiaochun's meaning and immediately affirmed it with absolute certainty. Bai Xiaochun coughed lightly, looking satisfied, put down the mirror, and looked down at the pile of love letters. Now I understand. No wonder so many junior sisters like me, so that's why. Sensing Bai Xiaochun's satisfaction, the fake Soul Yizhang sighed. He had been afraid of Bai Xiaochun before, but now he felt Bai Xiaochun was even more terrifying. He felt a pang of worrying, wondering what kind of person he would become in the future. Bai Xiaochun contentedly put away the mirror, flipped through the love letters, and happily put them all into his storage bag. He decided to keep these letters to show off to his descendants later. Bai Xiaochun happily cultivated the cold gate cultivation technique for a while, then switched to cultivating the immortal toe. Seeing that it was taking so long to get light, he became frustrated. Why is it taking so long to get light? Bai Xiaochun muttered and decided to study the reverse river pill. Time passed, and it was almost 4 o'clock in the morning. Outside, it was completely silent. While Bai Xiaochun was studying the reverse river pill, he suddenly frowned, felt a chill run down his spine, and the ground shook violently again. This time, the tremors spread throughout the cave dwelling in an instant. A powerful force isolated the inside of the cave from the outside. At the same time, the mask, which had been sealed in his storage bag, emitted an intense red light. It seemed that this time, the mysterious force had decided to pay a heavy price, doing everything possible to free the mask from its seal, wanting to speak with Bai Xiaochun. The mask flew out, and a voice filled with sorrow and anxiety urgently spoke. Listen to me, only a few words, but they terrified Bai Xiaochun. He shouted, swung his hand forcefully, and a handful of runes flew out, sticking to the mask. At the same time, he unleashed his heavenly Dao golden core cultivation, concentrating it to suppress the mask. The mask shook, and the sorrowful voice became fragmented and indistinct, no longer clearly audible. But he could sense that the other party was also exerting strength, trying to communicate with him. This is all your fault. Bai Xiaochun was terrified. He pulled out all the runes he had, his body flashed, and he flew out of the cave, speeding straight towards the Tongshan River. He punched the river hard, sending water splashing up. He took out a large jade bucket he had prepared and filled it with water. This bucket was originally for his cultivation. After filling it with water, he ran back to the cave. The mask was still vibrating, and his vague, anxious voice still echoed, now slightly clearer than before. You aren't planning to. Planning your head, Bai Xiaochun roared angrily, grabbing the mask and throwing it into the Tongshan River's water bucket. As soon as it was thrown in, the mask stopped vibrating, and the voice fell silent. Bai Xiaochun observed for a long time before letting out a sigh of relief. You thought your Bai family had no way out, huh? Humph, let's see if you can still cause trouble this time. Bai Xiaochun breathed a sigh of relief, sealing the Tongshan River water barrel and putting it into his storage bag. Using the Tongshan River water as a barrier, if the night burial geese soul were still inside the mask, Bai Xiaochun wouldn't dare do this, as it would affect the night burial geese soul. But now that the night burial geese soul was inside the bronze mirror, he had no qualms about using this method to eliminate the potential threat. Bai Xiaochun felt relieved. He really didn't want to offend that mysterious force, and even less did he want to drag the sect into a conflict with it. After all, this was his fault, so unless absolutely necessary, he wouldn't hand the mask over to the sect to handle. But now he felt at ease, and he felt much lighter. The next morning, he went out again to collect love letters. Zhang Dibin and Su Baokai came to find Bai Xiaochun, saying they also wanted to go with him to collect love letters. Of course, Bai Xiaochun didn't refuse, so from that day on, whenever they went out, it was always a group of three: Bai Xiaochun, Zhang Dapin, and Su Beokai. Every time these two saw female disciples running up to give Bai Xiaochun love letters, their eyes would widen with admiration. "Jubin, you said I've gotten thinner, so why hasn't anyone given me a love letter yet?" Zhang Dapin grumbled, looking at himself. He had clearly lost a lot of weight. Only his belly was still a little big. He asked Bai Xiaochun expectantly. Su Beokai felt the same way. He had recorded all of Bai Xiaochun's legendary stories these past few days and felt like ants were crawling inside him, itching and uncomfortable. Bai Xiaochun quickly raised his hand to his mouth to cough, then tilted his chin up. "This requires talent. Don't worry, I'll teach you gradually." Bai Xiaochun, feeling smug and about to show off, suddenly noticed Su Beokai freeze, staring intently behind him. Zhang Dapin's eyes widened, his breathing quickened, and he stared back at something. Bai Xiaochun was stunned, realizing that not only Zhang Dapin and Su Beokai, but also the other male disciples around him were the same. He turned around and saw a young woman approaching in the distance. She looked to be only 18 or 19, with large, clear eyes, soft, full lips, a delicate, high nose, and beautiful dimples. Her cheeks were smooth and radiant. She was a stunning beauty. Her flowing dress hugged her figure. Her arms were soft and white, her legs long and slender, giving her an air of refined elegance. Her appearance was like jade, her skin whiter than snow, her face like a painting, a truly unparalleled beauty. It was Chen Manyao, the most beautiful woman in the Reverse River sect. Su Baozi said dazedly. He had spread the title of most beautiful woman throughout the sect, even dreaming about her in his sleep. So, instinctively, he puffed out his chest, straightened up, and looked incredibly handsome. Zhang Dapin also took a deep breath, sucked in his stomach, and his eyes lit up. Impossible! How amazing! Bai Zikun heard the gasps of everyone around him and was astonished by Su Baozi and Zhang Dapin's actions. He then turned to look at Chen Manyao. Although he also found her beautiful, he didn't think she was to the point of being utterly captivating. Humph, she certainly hasn't received as many love letters as I have. Bai Zikun tilted his chin at Chen Manyao, finding her increasingly pretentious. Just as he was about to leave, Chen Manyao hurried over, her voice soft and melodious like a nightingale. "Brother Bai, please stop." Bai Xiaochun was startled. This was the first time the other party had spoken to him, so he tilted his head to look. Under his intense gaze, Chen Manyao's face flushed with embarrassment. She quickly stepped forward, pulled out a light pink handkerchief from her person, and hastily slipped it into Bai Xiaochun's hand. "Brother Bai, if you have time, at 3 a.m. tonight, please come to my cave dwelling and sit for a while." Chen Manya mustered all her courage and whispered quickly. After speaking, her face turned bright red, and she gave Bai Xiaochun a charming glance, her fair neck blushing as she lowered her head and ran away. Bai Xiaochun was startled, his handkerchief tightening slightly. He was completely stunned. He had received countless love letters of all kinds, and even several handkerchiefs, but he had never encountered anyone so bold as to even arrange a time and place. That she asked me to come to her cave to sit for a while. What does she mean? Bai Xiaochun instinctively turned to look at Zhang Dapin and Su Beokai. Zhang Dapin's eyes widened. Su Beokai was dumbfounded, his whole body numb. He had only admired Bai Xiaochun for receiving love letters, but now he had witnessed Chen Manyao also sending a love letter. It's worth noting that Chen Manyao had become very famous in the sect recently, a fairy in the hearts of countless male disciples, the most beautiful woman in the Reverse River sect. Yet today, she had proactively asked Bai Xiaochun to come to her cave to sit for a while. How am I supposed to know what to do? Su Baozi forced a breath, his voice filled with jealousy. Bai Xiaochun glared at Su Beokai, noticing his jealousy, then turned to look at Zhang Dapin. Seeing the respect in Zhang Dapin's eyes, he patted Bai Xiaochun on the shoulder. "Xiaochun, go back. You'll be an adult soon." Bai Xiaochun coughed, quickly tossed the handkerchief into his storage bag, flicked his sleeve, and said arrogantly, "If she wants me to come, I have to come. Right, I'm not going." This statement made everyone around him even more respectful, but no one saw the mischievous glint in Bai Xiaochun's eyes. Throughout the day, Su Beokai was listless and unhappy. In the afternoon, Bai Xiaochun returned to his cave dwelling, and everyone parted ways. However, through Sobeakai's big mouth, the story of Chen Manyo confessing her feelings and asking Bai Xiaochun out for a date quickly spread. This caused a huge uproar, sweeping across the cultivators of all four lineages. It's worth noting that love letters had only caused a slight ripple in the past few days, but now, because of Chen Manya's appearance, it was like a thunderbolt, exploding everywhere. The disciples of the four lineages were all shaken, and all sorts of discussions and debates arose throughout the area. What? Chen Manyo confessed her love to Bai Xiaochun. Everyone's gone crazy. It's one thing for others to send love letters, but I have genuine feelings for junior sister Chen. How could this happen? This can't be true. How? At midnight tonight, let's go to the cave dwelling and sit for a while. What are they trying to do? The commotion was so loud that even the sect master, the core formation elders, and the ancestors who weren't in seclusion could hear it. For them, these love letters and declarations of love were just jokes. They even teased each other about them. Li Qing'o even seriously asked Su Mixiang what kind of personality this girl Chen Manyo had. The elders of the Dangxi lineage were overjoyed, while the elders of the Zhuangxi lineage were startled. They knew how important Bai Xiaochun was to the next sect. If a disciple from their sect became Bai Xiaochun's partner, it would greatly benefit that disciple's lineage. Only the elders and sect masters of the Lingxi lineage were troubled, especially Zhang Yuandong. He knew Bai Xiaochun too well. He had heard stories of Bai Xiaochun wandering around the sect collecting love letters every day, and he sighed constantly. I wonder when Xiaochun will finally grow up. He's already formed a golden core, and yet he's still. Does he have to reach the nascent soul stage to feel any better? Zhang Yuandong shook his head, completely losing faith in Bai Xiaochun's change of heart. Such a commotion naturally reached Song Zhenwan and Hou Xiaomei as well. Both of them were anxious. Regarding the love letter incident a few days ago, although they were angry, they didn't feel threatened. But now it was different. Chen Manyao's involvement made them feel a very strong sense of danger. You despicable wretch! Shameless! The two women angrily cursed in their cave dwelling. Song Zhenwan, already hot-tempered, revealed her venomous nature, and Hou Xiaomei also showed her true colors. For the first time, they set aside their prejudices against each other, met to discuss their plans, and unanimously decided to visit Bai Xiaochun's cave dwelling that evening. Bai Xiaochun sat in his cave dwelling, holding Chen Manyao's handkerchief and deep in thought. After looking around for a while, his expression suddenly changed, sensing that Song Zhenwan and Hou Xiaomei had arrived. Bai Xiaochun was startled, almost dropping the handkerchief. He quickly put it away, ran to open the door, and smiled happily. Sister Song, little sister, you've come. I've missed you both so much lately. Song Zhenwan glared at Bai Xiaochun, snorted, went into the cave dwelling, carefully inspected everything, glared at him again, and then left. Bai Xiaochun was stunned. Hou Xiaomei stepped forward and grabbed his hand. Brother Xiaochun, I miss you so much. I'll stay here with you today. Huh? Bai Xiaochun was startled. What's wrong, Brother Xiaochun? Don't you like me staying here with you? Hou Xiaomei looked at Bai Xiaochun with teary eyes. Bai Xiaochun quickly shook his head and patted his chest. How could that be, that? Before he could finish speaking, Hou Xiaomei laughed and pulled him inside, sitting down beside him and starting to talk about all sorts of things. Bai Xiaochun watched the time pass until it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and he finally sighed. What's wrong, Brother Xiaochun? I heard that senior sister Chen Manyo is dating you. Is that true? Hou Xiaomei smiled, her eyes narrowing. What kind of date? If she wants me to come, I have to come. I, Bai Xiaochun, am the young patriarch of the sect. I don't care to go. Bai Xiaochun trembled inwardly, but his words were full of pride. It wasn't until early morning that Hou Xiaomei left, and Bai Xiaochun breathed a sigh of relief. Then Song Zhenwan arrived, taking up another day and night. For the next month, Song Zhenwan and Hou Xiaomei took turns, each taking a day, occupying all of Bai Xiaochun's time, leaving him no time to collect love letters or go on dates. Fortunately, the sect had just opened, and there was so much to do. Hou Xiaomei and Song Zhenwan also had to leave eventually, freeing Bai Xiaochun. Luckily, during this month, Chen Manyao's love letters and dates gradually faded away, especially after Song Zhenwan and Hou Xiaomei appeared, further discouraging the female disciples. When Bai Xiaochun finally had the freedom to appear in the sect, he suddenly discovered that no one was sending him love letters anymore. I knew it would be like this. Bai Xiaochun dejectedly lowered his head, pacing around for several days in frustration, finally discovering in despair, indeed, there are no more love letters. Only then did he return to his cave dwelling, lost in thought and sighing until nightfall. I'm the young patriarch of the sect, and junior sister Chen made an appointment with me. It wouldn't be right not to go. Besides, I have to go see what Chen Manyao's intentions are. Bai Xiaochun cautiously slipped out of his cave dwelling, walking vigilantly to avoid attracting attention, and headed towards Chen Manyao's cave dwelling. This was in the Dangxi First Lineage mountain range, and it was already nighttime, so it was very quiet. Bai Xiaochun circled around Chen Manyao's cave dwelling several times, and after confirming that no one was hiding, he used his heaven-penetrating Dharma eye to observe the entrance. He saw that inside, vaguely, only a woman was sitting cross-legged. There were no other arrangements around, and Bai Xiaochun didn't sense any danger, so he felt at ease. The place was very quiet, with only a small path leading to the cave. Outside the cave was a small pond, where lotus flowers bloomed, looking very elegant under the moonlight. Small purple flowers were planted around it, emitting a gentle fragrance in the night. Bai Xiaochun clasped his hands behind his back, looked up at the bright moon, cleared his throat, and spoke indifferently, Sister Chen. Have you rested yet? This young master has arrived as promised. Immediately, a surprised exclamation came from within the cave. Is that senior brother Bai? The soft voice belonged to Chen Manyao. The cave door gently opened, and Chen Manyao, with her alluring figure, appeared, happily looking at Bai Xiaochun. Senior brother Bai, please come in. Chen Manyao smiled brightly, slightly shyly, and stepped aside to let him through. Bai Xiaochun glanced at Chen Manyao, his smile nonchalant, yet exuding a slightly more intimidating aura. Chen Manyao's face flushed even more, feeling as if she were standing naked in front of Bai Xiaochun. She quickly took a few steps back, snapping, Brother Bai. Interesting, but unfortunately, Chen Manyao, you're not very good at acting. Bai Xiaochun shook his head and smiled, his eyes fierce. For no reason, you gave me a handkerchief. For no reason, you invited me to come at midnight. For a whole month I didn't come, and you didn't come to find me. Chen Manyao, do you really think I, the young master, am a 3-year-old child, or the kind of person who turns into an idiot at the sight of a woman? The love letter incident, perhaps you secretly fabricated it, mixing it in to lure me here. Bai Xiaochun's voice was icy cold. His heavenly Dao golden core cultivation pressure unleashed, creating a raging storm that made Chen Manyao tremble and her face change color. Are you kidding? She's only at the foundation establishment stage. I could have stayed, but I'm the young master. Since you've given me a clue, of course I have to come and see what your true purpose is. Bai Xiaochun clasped his hands behind his back, tilted his chin, and radiated killing intent. His sharp gaze fixed on Chen Manyao. Brother Bai, Chen Manyao took a few steps forward, about to speak, when Bai Xiaochun suddenly flicked his hand. A small knife flew out, hovering above his head, radiating the pressure of a supreme treasure, its killing intent directed straight at Chen Manyao. It was the reverse dragon horn. Don't move, you only have 3 sentences to say. You've already said 1. There are 2 more. If I'm not satisfied, I have the right to kill any disciple, Bai Xiaochun said coldly. His left thumb was already gripping his shoe, ready to unleash its full power, allowing him to leave this place at the fastest speed. The 9 provinces map had also been secretly opened by him, ready for use. Chen Manyao paused, looking at Bai Xiaochun, seeing him standing outside the formation she had set up at the door. Clearly, the other party had prepared everything. She frowned, feeling wary of Bai Xiaochun for the first time. She looked up at him, smiling slightly, her face no longer showing embarrassment, but rather mystery. No wonder those old men are paying attention to you. Bai Xiaochun, I have no ill intentions. I can swear on this. I invited you here for only one thing, hoping you can meet someone, Chen Manyao said with a smile. You have one more thing to say. Bai Xiaochun remained cold, the reverse dragon horn on his head beginning to flicker. Chen Manyao's face darkened, gritting her teeth. Night Burial, Mask, Bai Xiaochun, Mysterious Force, Dark Shadow, Immortal and Indestructible Object. Bai Xiaochun's expression changed. His eyes widened, and the reverse dragon horn instantly flew out, shooting straight towards Chen Mangyao. At the same time, he pressed his left toe into the ground, his whole body retreating rapidly, and the 9 provinces diagram opened with a swish. Bai Xiaochun had guessed that Chen Mangyao had a problem, but he never thought that the opponent was from a mysterious force. A black vortex appeared from Chen Mangyao, and from within the vortex, a cluster of black threads flew out and wrapped around the reverse dragon horn. The reverse dragon horn, carrying Bai Xiaochun's golden core power, was held motionless in midair. At the same time, a sorrowful and worried voice came from within the black threads. "Fellow Taoist, please trust me this one time. I was forced to resort to this desperate measure, even exposing Dao's identity and using her life as a gamble just for a chance to speak with you once. Fellow Taoist, please trust me just this once. You can leave now if you want, but listen to me first. If you're not satisfied, you can leave later." The black thread condensed into the illusory image of an old man. The old man's gaze towards Bai Xiaochun was complex, a mixture of politeness and respect. Bai Xiaochun retreated a short distance, the commotion attracting the attention of the patrolling cultivators of the Reverse River sect. A late-stage core formation elder flew over. "Young ancestor, what's going on? What's going on?" The patrolling cultivators looked around cautiously, suspiciously glancing towards the area where the black thread had transformed into the old man. But they saw nothing. Only Bai Xiaochun hovering in midair, continuously emitting his cultivation. "In your Reverse River sect, unless you're a celestial being, no one can detect my existence, let alone see anything. But because you didn't enter the formation's range, they were able to see you." The illusory old man spoke, his voice only audible to Bai Xiaochun. Bai Xiaochun's face darkened as he looked at the patrolling cultivators, then at the illusory figure of the old man. The old man's strangeness left him at a loss for what to do. The Tangshan continent is incredibly vast, centered around the Tangshan Sea, from which 4 great rivers radiate, spreading in all directions, forming the 4 cardinal directions of the cultivation world. Seeing Bai Xiaochun's silence, the illusory figure of the old man quickly spoke. "These 4 great rivers each branch into 4 smaller streams and countless tributaries like tree branches, allowing the spiritual energy of the Tangshan River to spread and cover an extremely large area. However, in reality, compared to the true area of the Tangshan continent, the area where the spiritual energy of the Tangshan River is diffused is less than half. This half, not covered by the spiritual energy of the Tangshan River, is called the Savage Wilderness." Bai Xiaochun was startled. He had speculated before, but then concluded that places without the aura of the Tangshan River were forbidden zones. The monk couldn't possibly survive. But now, the old man's words had completely changed everything. The main thing was that he sensed that the old man didn't seem to be lying at all. If we compare the spiritual energy area of the Tangshan River to the government area of the secular world, then the barbarian area is called the bandits' territory. I, the old man, come from the barbarian wilderness, and your bloodstream, sex blood ancestor also comes from the barbarian wilderness. Because of some karmic cause, the blood ancestor's body appeared in your place. The old man's illusory figure said seriously. Bai Xiaochun narrowed his eyes. The mysterious force's reason for caring about the immortal and indestructible object on the blood ancestor's body now gradually matched Bai Xiaochun's speculations. According to the old man's explanation, the immortal and indestructible artifact isn't something we absolutely must obtain. If you want to keep it, then keep it. I've also changed my approach to you, telling you these things because you are the inheritor of the blood ancestor. You become the 2nd generation blood ancestor. Ultimately, you and we Savage Wilderness have a karmic connection. The old man's illusory figure felt somewhat relieved. Bai Xiaochun's refusal to leave had given him a chance to speak, making things easier. What worried him most was that Bai Xiaochun wouldn't talk to him, just like before. That's why I've tried to speak to you through the mask several times, but your vigilance was too strong. I was forced to take such a risk and pay such a high price, forcing Yar to secretly create this situation to invite you here. I, representing a part of this savage wilderness, hope to maintain a long-term connection with you. This connection will only benefit you, not harm you. Our dark shadows are spread across the 4 major meridians of almost all sects and can provide you with many useful things. giving you countless pieces of information and data related to this world that you want to know. However, you also need to pay a commensurate price. The illusory old man breathed a sigh of relief and bowed to Bai Xiaochun. Bai Xiaochun remained silent. He had intended to leave, but the other party's words were flawless and resolved many of his doubts, especially revealing Chen Manyao's identity. All of this proved that the other party was truly sincere. The main point was, according to this old man, whatever he wanted to know in the future, they would give him the answer. Thinking of this, Bai Xiaochun's heart stirred slightly. The patrolling cultivators had searched the surroundings but found nothing, so they turned back to look at him in confusion. "You all go. I was just having a momentary hallucination. I apologize for disturbing you all," Bai Xiaochun said softly, bowing to everyone. The late-stage Golden Court elder looked at him, asked no further questions, and simply nodded slightly, leading everyone away. The place returned to silence. "Whatever the question is, can you give me the answer?" Bai Xiaochun asked. Seeing Bai Xiaochun dismiss the patrol team, the old man breathed a sigh of relief. He knew that this showed Bai Xiaochun had begun to agree to talk to him. "I wouldn't dare say I know everything, only most things. But we know almost everything in the savage wilderness because our spies are scattered throughout the Tongshan continent. Whether at the source, middle reaches, or lower reaches, we have our people." The old man hesitated for a moment before answering. This was Bai Xiaochun's first question, and he had to think carefully before responding. His answer contained arrogance and pride, clearly very confident in his intelligence. "Good, I want to ask someone," Bai Xiaochun said. "What is their cultivation level?" the old man immediately asked. "It must be a foundation establishment cultivator." Bai Xiaochun thought for a moment and replied, "Foundation establishment, this is simple. This is our first time establishing contact, so let's do this. It's free this time. I won't charge you. Tell me, what's that person's name? And what do you want to know?" The old man breathed a sigh of relief. With the information network throughout the Tongshan continent, finding information about a foundation establishment cultivator was not dangerous at all. It was very simple. Bai Xiaochun was nervous, but seeing the old man's confidence, he also felt a glimmer of hope. "This person's name is Du Lingfei. She used this name when she was at the Lingxi sect. Later, she appeared in the Bloodstream Sect's Blood Sun trial. I want to know her true identity, finding her identity. Even if you only know that much information, if such a person ever existed, of course we will find her. Just wait a moment." The old man chuckled softly, then disappeared, perhaps returning to the savage lands to give orders to find someone. Chen Mangyao closed her eyes in silence, as if she had been sealed since the old man appeared, to prevent the reversal from harming her soul. Bai Xiaochun took a deep breath, silently waiting. Time passed, half an hour had gone by, and the other party still hadn't appeared. Bai Xiaochun began to worry. After another half an incense stick's worth of time, black threads poured out from Chen Manyao's forehead, condensing into the figure of the old man. His face was pale, and his eyes looked at Bai Xiaochun with a strange and complex expression. "So, any results?" Bai Xiaochun hastily asked. "This, you should ask a different question." The old man hesitated. Didn't you say this problem was very simple?" "It's just searching for an individual, isn't it?" "What's wrong? Can't find them." Bai Xiaochun was surprised and angry. The old man gave a wry smile, a hint of fear flashing in his eyes. After a moment of silence, he shook his head. "I really can't find her." Bai Xiaochun narrowed his eyes at the old man, suddenly pulling out his storage bag and setting it aside. "The little turtle is inside. I couldn't find it, but I know it's still there. I'll catch it for you. You investigate Du Lingfei's identity for me. You should change the subject. This girl, I really can't find her. Just now, I went back to issue orders to search, and the whole province was shaken. Even the heavens and earth changed. It was terrifying. Many of our assassins died inexplicably at that time. Tell me, should I still search? This person either has an extremely mysterious identity or a very powerful status, beyond imagination. It's best not to provoke her. It's better if you never meet her again." The old man looked at Bai Xiaochun, a wry smile on his face. He hadn't deceived Bai Xiaochun. It was true that the investigation he had ordered had caused earth-shattering changes. He was troubled that Bai Xiaochun's casual question had led to such a dramatic turn of events. making Bai Xiaochun seem even more mysterious. Bai Xiaochun remained silent. He could tell the other party wasn't lying. After a long silence, he finally looked up. Not a single clue. Seeing Bai Xiaochun's persistence, the old man hesitated. Wanting to maintain his relationship with Bai Xiaochun, he gritted his teeth and revealed, "There's only one clue. Among the assassins who died unexpectedly just now, more than half died inside the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect. What this proves, you should figure out for yourself. If you want to contact me, you can do so anytime. Just use a mask. If you want to be careful, you can also contact Dower. Although Dower is a spy, she has no ill will towards the Reverse River sect. I hope you will show mercy." The old man transformed into a black thread and flew into Chen Mandao's forehead. Chen Mandao shuddered and opened her eyes, looking at Bai Xiaochun as if to say something, but then stopped, bowed slightly, and returned to her cave dwelling. Bai Xiaochun stood in midair, looking up at the moon, his heart filled with many old memories. Most deaths occur in the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect. So to find Du Lingfei, I have to go into the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect. Du Lingfei, who exactly are you? This search is exhausting. Bai Xiaochun shook his head, not understanding why Du Lingfei kept haunting his heart. Impossible to erase. Bai Xiaochun turned to find the sect master, Zhang Yuandong. Regarding the matter involving Chen Mandao, the Man Huang incident, and the mask, Bai Xiaochun knew he could no longer conceal it. The enemy's assassins had appeared, so he had to inform the sect. It wasn't until early morning that Bai Xiaochun left. He had told everything to his sect master, Zhang Yuandong. He didn't want to get involved in what happened afterward. He left the sect's decision on how to handle it. The matter was too big, and Zhang Yuandong didn't dare act on his own. Instead, he went to pay his respects to the four ancestors. The four ancestors summoned Chen Mandao, but nothing major happened afterward. Everything remained calm. Chen Mandao was still a disciple of the Reverse River sect, still the fairy in the hearts of the male disciples, still a prodigy. Only Bai Xiaochun knew that the four ancestors must have reached some kind of agreement with the power behind Chen Mandao. Bai Xiaochun ignored them and continued his cultivation. His handman cultivation technique and immortal body cultivation both progressed, and the spiritual power in the middle reaches far surpassed that in the lower reaches, greatly increasing his cultivation speed. Zhou Xinqi and the others were no less impressive, successively entering the great perfection of foundation establishment. They were all close to forming their golden cores, but no one dared to imitate Bai Xiaochun and immediately attempt it. They all needed at least 30 years to prepare before attempting the breakthrough. All their grudges and conflicts were resolved after they formed their golden cores. Only Song Zhenwan, already at the great perfection stage, dared to shorten her preparation time to just a few years. Zhang Dapin, Su Beokai, Hao Xiaomei, and He Sanpin also saw their cultivation advance, especially Zhang Dapin, who was the fastest, reaching the mid-stage of foundation establishment. Everyone was progressing, and the entire Reverse River sect was no exception. Even during this period, several groups of Che condensation cultivators were sent to the various ley lines to conduct foundation establishment trials. The sects in the middle reaches all had foundation establishment sacred lands, a feature the lower reaches couldn't match. After disappearing for some time, Iron Egg suddenly reappeared outside Bai Xiaochun's cave dwelling. It was covered in wounds, many extremely serious, almost piercing through its body. But its spirits were high, its eyes shining brightly, and most importantly, it exuded an aura of impending breakthrough. Since the sect's construction was completed, Iron Egg had been missing. Through private communication, Bai Xiaochun knew it was all right. He thought it had gone to find a female beast to play with, but now he realized that wasn't the case. Looking into its eyes, he suddenly understood why it had risked its life. It was because it had seen Bai Xiaochun in danger several times, yet felt useless and unable to protect him, that it risked its life. You can't do that again. I'm your father. There's no way a son should protect his father. It's me who should protect you. When I'm old and can't walk anymore, then you can protect me. Bai Xiaochun's nose stung as he said loudly. And also, you can't play the disappearing act anymore. Whatever you want to do, wherever you want to go, you have to tell me. Tai Dan rubbed its head against Bai Xiaochun's chest, curling up snugly in his arms, lying on its back with its tongue sticking out, looking very cute, making Bai Xiaochun's heart ache even more. He placed his right hand on Taidan, transmitting the aura of the heavenly Dao golden core into it. Taidan groaned comfortably, licking Bai Xiaochun's face. After healing the remaining internal injuries in Taidan's body, Bai Xiaochun looked at its wounds again, and with a heavy heart, took out a pile of elixirs and fed them to Taidan. These elixirs were all top grade and very expensive, but Bai Xiaochun didn't begrudge them at all. Taidan grinned at him, its eyes warm and full of intelligence, like a family member looking at each other. After a while, Bai Xiaochun scolded Taidan a few more times, but Taidan wagged its tail and rubbed against him affectionately. Seeing this, Bai Xiaochun stopped scolding it. He carried Taidan back to his cave dwelling. Its wounds gradually healed, and its aura of impending breakthrough became even more apparent. Bai Xiaochun knew that Taidan was about to enter the core formation stage. For battle beasts, this was completely different from humans. Although the level of danger wasn't as great as for humans, Taidan was a king beast, so it wasn't simply a matter of ordinary battle beasts forming a core. He anxiously ran to find Zheng Yuandong. The Reverse River sect was very concerned about Taidan, especially the Lingxi lineage. Zheng Yuandong immediately issued a decree, arranging a special place on the peak of Reverse River Mountain for Taidan to cultivate his core. There were many formations there, the spiritual energy was extremely dense, and they even sent several core cultivating cultivators to protect him. Bai Xiaochun came to ask for help, and ancestor Li Zimo also emerged from his seclusion to assist. The other three lineages also received visits from Bai Xiaochun. The Bloodstream lineage gifted several supreme treasures for his tribulation. The Downstream lineage sent thousands of people to refine spirit pills. And the Zhuanstream lineage set up a multitude of formations right on the peak where Taidan was in seclusion. The concentrated protection and support of the four lineages for his core cultivation earned the admiration of all the disciples in the sect, not only because Taidan was a king beast, but also because of Bai Xiaochun's status. 7 days later, Taidan was completely recovered, his aura surging with power, soaring straight into the sky. The heavens and earth trembled, clouds formed layers. Thunder roared, and Taidan stood on the altar, tilting his head back and roaring loudly. His roar pierced through the clouds, shattering the mist above. The cultivators of the Reverse River sect were all startled and rushed out, looking up at the sky. Taidan has formed a golden core. A king beast has formed a golden core. What an aura! King beasts are extremely rare, and Taidan is said to be a king among king beasts. Naturally, he can't be ordinary. All the battle beasts of the Lingxi lineage roared in unison, cheering on Taidan. The heavenly horned black dragon also looked up at the sky, then at Taidan, filled with anticipation and excitement. Bai Xiaochun stood beside Taidan, deciding to be its protector. A thunderclap resounded, and a black lightning bolt shot down from above. Taidan roared, charging forward to meet the lightning bolt. Without the support of surrounding formations or the protection of core formation cultivators, it leapt into the sky alone. It used its horn to thrust directly into the lightning. Boom! The heavens and earth trembled, the lightning bolt shattered, scattering in all directions. Taidan twisted its body, looked down at Bai Xiaochun with a smug expression, then looked up at the sky and roared again. Seeing Taidan's triumphant demeanor, Bai Xiaochun coughed slightly, feeling a strange resemblance to himself, yet still feeling worried. He shouted, "Be careful. If you see anything wrong, come down immediately." "It's all right. There's nothing to be ashamed of." As soon as he opened his mouth, a second lightning bolt struck. Taidan roared again, charging forward, shattering the second, third, fourth, and fifth lightning bolts. 3 lightning bolts appeared in quick succession, each larger than the last, striking Iron Egg's body. It screamed, its whole body trembling, and fell to the ground, trapped within the formation. Just as Bai Xiaochun was about to rush over, Iron Egg swallowed all the prepared elixirs surrounding it, then tilted its head back and roared, leaping into the air again. Its speed was incredibly fast, like a rainbow, its 4 legs blazing with purple flames, charging straight into the clouds. It wanted to shatter the layers of clouds condensing the lightning tribulation. Bai Xiaochun took a deep breath. He realized Iron Egg was even more ferocious than himself. Ancestor Li Ziming's eyes widened as he stood up straight, and the surrounding core formation cultivators were also shocked, watching Iron Egg's ferocity. This is too powerful. Heavens, Iron Egg wants to shatter the tribulation clouds. Within the swirling clouds, the 6th, 7th, and 8th lightning bolts appeared, striking directly at Iron Egg's body. Boom! 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 Bang! The cloud layer shattered. 3 bolts of lightning exploded, the impact shaking the sky and spreading in all directions. The cloud layer was torn apart, and within it, Titan had transformed into a 100-foot-tall figure, treading on a sea of purple flames. He tilted his head back and let out a long, piercing scream. With a long roar, its body continuously grew larger, the dense spiritual energy constantly cleansing its body, and its aura of a supreme, kingly beast grew stronger and stronger. Bai Xiaochun was extremely excited. Above it, a purple inner core was gradually forming, descending closer to Tai Dan. This purple inner core was very bright, dazzlingly so, and carried a strange fragrance that made anyone who smelled it feel relaxed and comfortable. Bai Xiaochun became even more nervous. A few days ago, he had consulted many ancient texts and asked Ancestor Li Ziming. Learning that battle beasts forming their cores didn't experience lightning tribulations, only king beasts forming their cores did. After the lightning tribulation, the heaven and earth would condense the core. Once the core was formed, Titan only needed to swallow it to become a core-forming beast, but this was also the most dangerous moment. Because the heaven and earth great elixir, condensed from the aura of a king beast, is incredibly attractive to both cultivators and ferocious beasts. Cultivators can use it as a spiritual medicine to refine a second inner elixir, while ferocious beasts can evolve their bloodline, potentially transforming themselves into king beasts. Just as the purple elixir was almost complete, a deafening roar echoed from somewhere in the distance. This roar pierced everyone's ears, causing them to feel dizzy. A 1,000-foot-long serpent could be vaguely seen hurtling towards the purple elixir from afar. This serpent looked ferocious, and its body also carried the aura of a king beast. This serpent was also a king beast. The serpent was thousands of feet long and dozens of feet thick. It didn't look like a snake at all, but rather like a dragon, with 2 horns on its head and 3 legs on its belly. Its entire body was covered in dazzling scales, and it exuded a powerful, divine aura. The serpent flew forward at incredible speed, its king-level beast aura causing the war beasts of the reverse river sect to tremble. The suppression of their bloodlines rendered them incapable of resistance. Only the heavenly horned black dragon, though trembling and with its scales bristling, still let out a low growl. Clouds swirled around the serpent as it flew, its enormous head startling the entire reverse river sect. This is a king-level beast. In the lower reaches of the cultivation world, king-level beasts were extremely rare. Many people wouldn't see one in their entire lives. The appearance of Iron Egg was completely unexpected. In the Midlands, while king beasts are rare, they are not non-existent. Deep in the mountains, one can occasionally encounter the figures of king beasts. Li Ziming's expression changed, and he unleashed his nascent soul aura, flicking his sleeve, sending a whirlwind up to block the flying snake. Tidan roared, his king beast aura erupting, as if trying to compete with the flying snake. However, Tidan's cultivation and aura were clearly far inferior to the flying snake's, like a child compared to an adult. But behind Li Ziming and Tidan, there was an extremely powerful surge of blood energy shooting straight up into the sky. It was Bai Xiaochun. His blood energy column was incredibly powerful, carrying the cultivation of a heavenly Tao golden core, surrounded by a layer of golden light. You dare, Bai Xiaochun roared, drawing out his reverse dragon horn and launching it straight towards the flying snake. At the same time, he opened his third eye, and a purple thread shot out, striking the flying snake. Li Ziming's storm caused the flying serpent to halt. Bai Xiaochun's reverse dragon horn flew forward, carrying the aura of the heavenly Tao, causing the flying serpent to narrow its eyes and slightly twist its body to counter the dagger. With a loud bang, the storm shattered. The reverse dragon horn was flung away, but the flying serpent was also forced back more than 100 feet. Tidan glared fiercely at the flying serpent, but was clearly extremely wary, as this moment was crucial to it. The purple core above its head was still condensing. A figure flew up into the air, standing in front of it. This figure was incredibly small compared to Tidan's size of several hundred feet, but his image dispelled all of Tidan's frustration and anxiety. Rest assured and focus on forming your core. I'll handle everything. That figure was Bai Xiaochun, he said softly, his eyes never leaving the flying serpent. Li Ziming also arrived, as did the nascent soul cultivators and guardians, forming a battle array in the air. The Zhuangzi lineage's formation appeared, creating 9 large swords suspended in midair, coldly aimed at the flying serpent. The serpent recoiled slightly. Although it was a king beast, and a nascent soul king beast at that, this was the territory of the Net sect, one of the 4 major sects of the central region. Unless absolutely necessary, it wouldn't want to provoke them. But Taidan's purple core was too tempting. It sensed that if it swallowed the core, it would very likely break through the nascent soul realm and enter the celestial human realm. The cultivators of the Net sect also feared it, not wanting to provoke a king beast like it. Each king beast could command a vast number of ferocious beasts to form a beast tide, which would be very detrimental to the sect. Both sides were wary of each other, standing on opposite sides in silent standoff. From the reverse river mountain, several more nascent soul divine consciousnesses rose up, focusing on the flying serpent. Although unwilling, if this flying serpent didn't know better and still tried to rob, the reverse river sect would certainly use all its strength to deal with it and kill it. Since you have cultivated to this level, calling you a fellow Taoist is not an exaggeration. Today, the guardian beast of our reverse river sect is forming its core. To avoid misunderstandings, I hope you will leave immediately. Li Ziming narrowed his eyes, his voice icy cold. The flying serpent remained silent, its eyes flickering. It was unwilling, lingeringly looking at the iron core, or rather, the purple core. This core had become even brighter and more dazzling. The fragrance had also become stronger. The purple core had formed. Iron Egg excitedly sucked in the dream-inducing pill, the purple pill flying towards its mouth. But at that moment, the void near Iron Egg suddenly twisted, and an arm stretched out from the void, grabbing the purple pill. Bai Xiaochun's eyes widened, and he punched the arm in the void. 3 cold snorts echoed from the reverse river mountain. Feng Shenzi, Han Zong, and Shihan Laozu instantly appeared. There was no sign of them being in seclusion. It seemed they had never been in seclusion before, and they were all unleashing their strongest divine abilities. You have been secretly observing our sect for several days. Do you really think that our reverse river sect can't do anything to you? Feng Shenzi's cold voice was full of killing intent. His arm shook violently, shattering, and the purple pill fell. From the void, a soft laugh echoed, and 3 rainbow-colored beams rushed towards it. The speed of the 3 rainbow beams was incredibly fast, heading straight for the purple pill. I anticipated that a rare treasure would appear here, but I didn't expect it to be a king beast's purple pill. The gate of the reverse river sect roared, the formation activated, and a massive sword suddenly appeared, flashing directly at the 3 men. Immediately afterward, the patriarchs, who had been in seclusion, all emerged, showing no signs of having been in retreat, just like the 3 men, Feng Shenzi. The serpent's eyes blazed, and with its fastest speed, it lunged straight towards the core, joining the struggle for it. Bai Xiaochun now understood that for the past few months, many forces had been secretly eyeing his sect. Today's Iron Egg's formation of the core was unexpected, but it also became the trigger, drawing out all those lurking forces. The ancestors weren't actually in seclusion. They only made that announcement to lure the snakes out of their hole. But the Iron Egg was very important to Bai Xiaochun, and he couldn't afford any mistakes. Although the sect had prepared, he had his own preparations. He snorted and lunged straight towards the blood ancestor's body at the mountain gate, burrowing inside. After the nascent soul cultivators of the reverse river sect appeared, the void twisted again, and several more figures emerged, joining the battle. These people all concealed their faces, clearly to prevent the reverse river sect from knowing their true identities. And they were not all from the same side, but for different groups. Blood ancestors' eyes opened, carrying the same gaze as Bai Xiaochun. Taidan was his son, he was Taidan's father, and he would not allow these people to bully Taidan and steal his core. Get out of my way! Bai Xiaochun roared, and blood ancestor rushed forward, punching straight into the air. This punch, carrying all of Bai Xiaochun's cultivation, created a raging storm. The storm enveloped everything around, forcing the onlookers to dodge, and some who couldn't escape in time spat out fresh blood. The flying serpent was closest, so it was hit hardest, hissing in pain and retreating rapidly. Everyone turned to look at the blood ancestor, their expressions changing as they tried to figure out the blood ancestor's weakness. Feng Shenzi and Han Zhang exchanged glances. They had intended to wait a little longer, luring away those still hiding, but unexpectedly, Bai Xiaochun had intervened. If they didn't act now, Bai Xiaochun might resent them. It's time to end this. Although not everyone is out yet, we've already been intimidated. Han Zhang waved his hand, and a black sun appeared in the clouds. Behind the black sun was a white sun, the two suns overlapping. Two black and white crows within opened their eyes, their figures overlapping and cawing loudly. Dao Kaoren also emerged from the void, the heavenly horn sword shooting down like a golden beam from the high heavens. The formation of the reverse river sect was unleashed to its limit, radiating brilliant light and surging power, transforming into three enormous swords. Wherever they passed, the void seemed to be incinerated. Figures retreated rapidly, but one person couldn't escape in time and was pursued and killed by the heavenly horn sword. The eerie Taoist Gross man flickered and chased after another person, reaching out to skin them, but the opponent was only an illusion, unable to peel off their skin. The brutal scene was still shocking. Two black and white crows moved at incredible speed, killing many people. But the most terrifying were the three streams of sword light from the formation, like three nets of tens of thousands of swords, their swirling and killing range incredibly wide. Li Zimok chased after the flying serpent that was fleeing for its life. From afar, the entire reverse river sect was incredibly beautiful, like a beautiful blooming of sword flowers. Strangely, many people lost their lives, but no blood flowed. Their bodies slowly dissipated upon falling. Clearly, these were not real people, but merely Dharma bodies forged from essence blood. Although their bodies were consumed, their fundamental nature remained unaffected. The intact purple core fell into Tai Dan's mouth, and its aura surged wildly. Bai Xiaochun flew out of the blood ancestor's body, his face pale, his whole body exhausted. Even with the power of the dual cores, controlling the blood ancestor alone had caused immense physical strain. He gazed deeply at the ancestors, his eyes filled with resentment and indignation. The ancestors exchanged awkward glances. Tai Dan's core formation hadn't gone as they had anticipated. While they had managed to lure out those who were coveting it, they had also caused Bai Xiaochun to misunderstand. Finally, Han Zhang had to step forward to explain. Bai Xiaochun merely snorted, letting it go since Tai Dan had succeeded. These old geezers are a bunch of cunning foxes. Bai Xiaochun muttered excitedly and expectantly, looking at Tai Dan, whose aura was rising, and decided to temporarily spare them. A golden core-forming beast, after successfully forming one, also needs care. Now that the grand ancestors have come to protect it, Tai Dan naturally has nothing to worry about anymore. Bai Xiaochun sat down to wait. The wait was boring, and he thought of the true spirit female infant, remembering the reverse river pill, and couldn't help but fall into deep thought. The reverse river pill, if refined from the inside, it's not feasible unless there's enough life force, but my life force isn't sufficient. And if refined from the outside, although it's the correct method, it's too difficult. Bai Xiaochun couldn't help but feel dejected. Even though I've obtained a drop of true spirit blood, giving me a little more confidence in refining the reverse river pill with my current skill level, I'm afraid it's still not enough. Bai Xiaochun sighed wearily, knowing that the method he couldn't create made him feel frustrated. Cultivating from within is best, but life force, Bai Xiaochun's eyes suddenly lit up, and he lowered his head to look at his storage bag. Little black turtle. It's an immortal and indestructible object. Its life force should be enough, right? Bai Xiaochun was tempted, but didn't dare show it, fearing that little black turtle would discover him. This little black turtle is very cunning. I have to find a way to trick it into helping me. Bai Xiaochun thought, his head aching, and he greatly missed the time when little black turtle was still unconscious. Bai Xiaochun's eyes turned wicked. The more he thought about it, the more he felt it was a good idea, his eyes blazing with malice, thinking about refining a super great anesthetic furnace. 7 days later, at dawn, Tai Dan suddenly opened his eyes, lifted his head, and roared, purple light emanating from his body, and the aura of forming a course spread rapidly. The battle beasts of the reverse river sect roared and cheered. Bai Xiaochun was excited, and the great ancestors also smiled and left. Tai Dan was extremely excited, circling around Bai Xiaochun for several days until it couldn't stand it anymore and ran off to play. Fortunately, it didn't run outside the reverse river sect, only staying within the sect's boundaries, playing with the battle beasts and female disciples. Bai Xiaochun couldn't stop it, so he let it be. Moreover, his mind was focused on refining the super great anesthetic, spending all day researching the formula. Time slowly passed, and 2 months quickly flew by. After many improvements to the formula, Bai Xiaochun finally came up with the final version. Several times, the little turtle poked its head out of the storage bag, looking at him suspiciously. Unfortunately, it couldn't see what Bai Xiaochun was thinking, but his crazy red eyes made the little turtle feel vaguely uneasy. Bai Xiaochun didn't neglect his cultivation either. Every day, besides thinking about the formula, he regularly cultivated the immortal body and the cold gate cultivation technique. One morning, after Bai Xiaochun had finished formulating the medicine, he suddenly startled. He pulled out a jade slip from his storage bag, and Han Zhang's voice echoed in his mind. Xiaochun, come to the main hall of the Reverse River Mountain. The 3 major sects of the central region have come to visit. You should attend the meeting. Bai Xiaochun was slightly startled. He had already discussed the matter with Tai Dan with the ancestors, and everyone suspected that among the people lurking around that day, besides rogue cultivators, there were also many people from those 3 sects. After all, the Reverse River sect was a newcomer, so it was natural for the 3 sects to send people to investigate. Bai Xiaochun snorted coldly, pondered for a moment, then stood up, put on the young ancestor's robe, and assumed a cold and aloof demeanor before heading to the Reverse River main hall. Along the way, he encountered many Reverse River sect cultivators, all with gloomy and angry expressions, glaring towards the main hall. When Bai Xiaochun arrived at the main hall, he saw 3 groups of cultivators dressed in different outfits standing outside the door, each with a look of contempt for the disciples of the Reverse River sect guarding the hall. These 3 groups of cultivators, each with about 10 people, ranged in cultivation levels from core formation to foundation establishment. They all wore Taoist robes, but they were distinctly different. One group wore black robes with a blood moon emblem. These individuals exuded a strong aura of killing intent, their eyes icy cold, looking at everyone as if they wanted to kill. The second group wore starry sky robes. Their faces were handsome, tall, and refined, clearly displaying a disdainful and superior demeanor. The last group wore 2-colored black and white Taoist robes. Both men and women possessed an ethereal aura, yet their eyes were still filled with contempt. Bai Xiaochun guessed their origins at a glance. The group wearing starry sky robes was from the Star River Academy. The group radiating killing intent and bearing the blood moon emblem was undoubtedly from the demonic sect, Extreme River Academy. Those in 2-colored Taoist robes were definitely from the strongest sect, the Tao River Academy. These 3 groups occupied the area outside the main hall, preventing anyone from entering, effectively turning the tables and driving away even the disciples guarding the main hall of the Reverse River sect. Above them, amidst the clouds, hung an enormous, pitch-black serpent, sometimes looking down at the ground with icy eyes, other times glaring at the Reverse River sect disciples with bloodthirsty eyes. Further away, a massive warship, thousands of feet in size, shimmered silver in the sunlight. On the other side was a colossal meteorite, also thousands of feet in size, surrounded by a sea of fire radiating intense heat that, regardless of the Reverse River sect below, caused all the trees on the ground to wither. Just as Bai Xiaochun looked in, a middle-aged cultivator from the Star River Academy was pushing a foundation establishment disciple of the Reverse River sect more than 10 feet away. "Get out! No one is allowed in here," the middle-aged cultivator from the Star River Academy arrogantly declared, his eyes filled with contempt. His fellow disciples behind him burst into laughter. Truly, small sects have small gates, and the guards of the main hall are all empty shells. The disciples of all 3 sects laughed loudly. The disciples of the Reverse River sect nearby were furious, but restrained themselves. The Reverse River sect had only recently taken control of the central region, its foundation still unstable. This was the first time the 3 sects had come here, and they were currently inside the main hall discussing matters with the ancestors. If they caused a disturbance outside, it would negatively impact the Reverse River sect. Clearly, the disciples of the 3 sects knew this, yet they deliberately provoked and tried to stir up conflict, seeing that the Reverse River sect disciples were still holding back and not attacking. The disciples of the 3 sects exchanged glances. "I heard that there are many self-proclaimed prodigies in the Reverse River sect. Where is Bai Xiaochun?" and Songqiu, Guya, Judao, Shangguan Tianyu, Chen Manyao, and so on. Where are they all? The nascent soul cultivators are all inside the main hall discussing important matters. It's boring for us juniors to wait outside. How about we have a sparring match? Let's see the prodigies of the Reverse River sect. One of the group stepped forward, his voice booming with arrogance. Haha, I am Di Gong, late Foundation Establishment Stage. I hope to receive guidance from fellow cultivators of the Reverse River sect. A young man from the Extreme River Academy laughed, his body radiating immense power. The other two sects also had people step forward, their words extremely arrogant. What's wrong? The mighty Reverse River sect, and no one dares to spar with us. The Reverse River sect is so great, isn't it? A late Foundation Establishment Stage disciple of the Zhuangzi lineage couldn't hold back any longer and charged towards Di Gong. Two more flew out, engaging the two cultivators from the other two sects. Get back here. Di Gong sneered, stomping his foot on the ground to gain momentum. As his foot lifted off the ground, the power of his body and the force of the wine combined, creating an incredibly powerful attack. The flying sword of the Zhuangzi sect disciple flew past Di Gong, who changed color, realizing his opponent's speed was too great. The flying sword only struck a blur, and he immediately retreated, but it was too late. With a thump, Di Gong appeared right beside him, throwing a punch and sending the Zhuangzi sect disciple flying. Di Gong didn't stop, continuing the pursuit. Everyone around rushed to his aid. The remaining two disciples were also quickly sent flying and were pursued by cultivators from the other two sects. Bai Xiaochun dashed forward, blocking the Zhuangzi sect disciple. Di Gong's punch landed directly on him, but Bai Xiaochun remained unfazed. Moreover, the extremely strong counterforce sent Di Gong flying backward, blood gushing out wildly. A core formation cultivator, a shameless cultivator from the Reverse River sect. A core formation cultivator actually attacked my Foundation Establishment cultivator. Di Gong roared. Bai Xiaochun continued his attack, blocking blows for his two fellow disciples, still taking the hits himself, but he was unharmed, while the two attackers spat blood and were sent flying. Shameless. A core formation cultivator ambushed a Foundation Establishment cultivator. The cultivators from the three sects glared angrily at Bai Xiaochun. So what if I attacked a Foundation Establishment cultivator? I even attacked the Che condensation cultivator, shameless. Which eye of yours saw me attacking someone? It was you who attacked me. Oh dear, how shameless. 3 Foundation Establishment cultivators ganging up on a core formation cultivator. You're really going too far. Bullying is one thing, but don't push me too far. If I get angry, even I'll be afraid. Bai Xiaochun stood tall before the 3 sects with his hands clasped behind his back, his chin held high coldly. The monks of the 3 sects were startled. Indeed, Bai Xiaochun hadn't attacked just now. Young Ancestor. Greetings, Young Ancestor. Greetings, Young Ancestor. The disciples of the Reverse River sect bowed in unison. The 3 leaders of the 3 sects narrowed their eyes, only now recognizing Bai Xiaochun. Interesting, Bai Xiaochun, right? I am Chen Yanchen. Let's have a discussion. The leading young man of the Star River Academy spoke, secretly taking out a black nail from his hand. He thought that if he crippled Bai Xiaochun here, although there would be consequences, it wouldn't be a big deal, so he slowly stepped forward, his core formation cultivation openly displaying its power. Not only him, but the 2 leading core formation cultivators of the Extreme River sect and the Dao River Academy also stepped forward. But before Chen Yanchen could finish speaking, Bai Xiaochun shouted, "You forced me." Bai Xiaochun swung his hand, throwing a pill at Chen Yanchen. Huh? Chen Yanchen was stunned. He flicked his sleeve, and the pill exploded, a cloud of black smoke spreading around. The cultivators of the 3 sects tried to dodge, but the black smoke was strange. Instead of dissipating, it quickly seeped into their bodies. As soon as the pill was thrown, the disciples of the Reverse River sect changed their expressions, especially those from the Spirit Stream and Blood Stream lineages. They all instantly retreated, pulling those beside them along, fleeing over 100 feet. The cultivators of the Extreme River sect and the Dao River sect were stunned, not understanding why Bai Xiaochun had thrown the pill. However, seeing the reaction of the Reverse River sect disciples, they all sensed something was wrong and instinctively retreated. Bai Xiaochun, what are you doing? Chen Yanchen was furious and was about to charge forward when he froze. Behind him, a fellow cultivator suddenly screamed and lunged forward, embracing Chen Yunshin from behind. Sister Li, I finally have you. I'm flying. I want to fly. Where is this? Don't come any closer. Ah. Ha ha ha, I've finally reached the heavenly human realm, ha ha ha. From now on, I am invincible in the world. In the blink of an eye, dozens of cultivators from the Star River Academy, excluding those still holding on after the core formation stage, went berserk. They screamed, some stretched out their arms, others flew back and forth, some lay prostrate on the ground, writhing and laughing eerily. Some looked around in terror, wailing in agony. One person, his eyes filled with infatuation, soared straight up into the sky, charging towards the giant lizard above. Little beauty, don't be afraid, I'm coming. Of the Reverse River sect, all turned to look at Bai Xiaojun as if he were a god. Especially the disciples of the bloodstream lineage, many of them teared up, clearly recalling their own experiences. The spirit stream lineage was also deeply moved, and some members of the mysterious stream lineage had also been toyed with in this way on the battlefield by Bai Xiaojun's followers. The disciples of the downstream lineage's eyes shone brightly. They had heard of Bai Xiaojun's exploits, the unbelievable, mythical results of his alchemy, but had never witnessed them firsthand. Now, seeing them with their own eyes, their gazes towards Bai Xiaojun became even more fervent. The disciples of the Extreme River Institute and the Dao River Institute were terrified, screaming and running at full speed, afraid of catching the black smoke. What is that? What kind of elixir is that? How terrifying! How can there be such an elixir in the world? Even a core formation cultivator couldn't withstand it for long. This elixir is too terrifying. The disciples of the two sects looked at Bai Xiaojun with fear. He was too terrifying. Everyone became extremely wary of him. Bai Xiaojun coughed lightly, looked at them, and shrugged. You see, who told them to force me? I told them that if I got angry, I would be scared myself. But they wouldn't listen and kept forcing me. Bai Xiaojun feigned a wronged expression, then, as if remembering something, turned to ask the core formation cultivators of the two sects. That's right, it seems like you were about to say something just now, weren't you? The cultivators of the two sects trembled. The Foundation establishment cultivators immediately retreated far away from the core formation cultivators, while the core formation cultivators of the two sects were startled and quickly replied. Nothing, I just wanted to say, fellow Taoist Bai truly lives up to his reputation, a dragon and phoenix among men, that's right, that's right. From now on we're all people from the middle reaches of the cultivation world. We should be more friendly with each other. Bai Xiaojun chuckled smugly, about to boast a few more words, when a thunderous snort echoed through the main hall. A figure flew out from within, an old man with fiery red hair and eyes like lightning, slapping each of the Star River Academy disciples. The disciples, who had lost control, immediately bent over and vomited profusely for a long time before regaining consciousness. Their faces were pale, their bodies weak, and they all turned to look at Bai Xiaojun with fear. Especially Chen Yunshin, his whole body trembling, staring intently at Bai Xiaojun, secretly vowing that he would definitely kill Bai Xiaojun to avenge this humiliation. The red-haired old man glared at Bai Xiaojun. Bai Xiaojun thought to himself that the other party's cultivation was profound, and he absolutely shouldn't look him in the eye, so he lowered his head and kicked a stone at his feet, his face full of innocence. The red-haired old man snorted again, said nothing, and turned back into the main hall. Bai Xiaojun glared fiercely after him. After the old man entered the hall, he glanced around, wondering whether he should go in or not, when Han Zhang's voice rang out from inside the main hall. Xiaojun, don't mess around, come in. Bai Xiaojun immediately raised his head and puffed out his chest, his expression serious, and stepped into the main hall. The disciples of the three sects all watched him, their hearts filled with complex emotions, but they no longer had the mood to continue causing trouble with the disciples of the Reverse River sect. Everyone's heart was heavy with worrying. Just as he entered the main hall, Bai Xiaojun heard the red-haired old man's voice again. The Reverse River sect is not the Void River Academy. There's no way the Reverse River sect should inherit the Void River Academy's share. Bai Xiaojun looked around, seeing that the three ancestors of the Han sect, Feng Shenzi and Qi Han, were all present in the main hall, sitting gloomily at the head, with 7 or 8 cultivators on each side. These 7 or 8 were all nascent soul cultivators, each radiating a terrifying aura. That's right, with such a large share, which sect wouldn't want to develop? Naturally, the stronger they become, the better. Bai Xiaojun walked in, causing the nascent soul cultivators of the 3 sects to turn and look, but they only glanced at him briefly. No one paying much attention except for the red-haired old man whose eyes flashed with ferocity. Bai Xiaojun pretended not to see, and solemnly walked to stand right behind Han Zong. The Reverse River sect completely replaced the Void River Academy, so naturally, it also received the Void River Academy's share. Han Zong gritted his teeth, his tone stiff and angry. Brother Han, this is the rule of the Central Cultivation world, not meant to be hostile to the Reverse River sect. Bai Xiaojun only listened for a moment before understanding the reason for the 3 sects' visit. In the Central Cultivation world lies a secret realm that opens once every 60 years. The secret realm contains numerous spiritual plants, including 10,000-year-old spiritual herbs, and even crucial ingredients for refining the heavenly human elixir, which are almost extinct outside. The heavenly human elixir can help nascent soul cultivators increase their chances of successfully advancing to the mortal-grade heavenly human realm, making it extremely valuable to the sects. Therefore, each time it opens, the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect comes to collect it, taking half and distributing the other half to the 4 major sects. The secret realm is managed by the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect, and it is also a place of inheritance. Those who can comprehend the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect's divine techniques and abilities from within it are considered one of the methods used to select disciples. Regarding the distribution ratio, the Starry Sky Dao Extreme sect had established a rule. Before each opening, the 4 major sects would send their disciples into the inheritance area to harvest the inheritance. Each time it opened, the inheritance area would have 100 portions of inheritance, and the resources within the secret realm would be divided based on the number of portions each sect obtained. In the previous distribution, the Void River Academy ranked second, obtaining 3/10 of the resources. These resources were all stored in the Reverse River sect's treasury, serving as materials for nascent soul cultivators to advance to the heavenly human realm. Now, the 3 sects wanted to redistribute them, demanding that the Reverse River sect release those resources. The resources obtained previously belong to the Void River Academy, not to your Reverse River sect. If the Reverse River sect wants them, they must go and harvest them themselves, relying on their own strength to compete. The red-haired old man from the Starry Sky Academy coldly glared at Han Zong. Bai Xiaojun frowned, looking at the cultivators from the 3 sects. Among the 3 sects, Dao Academy was the strongest, presumably having won first place last time, so this matter didn't affect them much, and they hadn't said anything until now. Ji Academy also didn't say much. Only Xingye Academy was impatient and eager to get their revenge. Thus, in the previous competition, Xingye Academy was certainly last. That's why Xingye Academy was unwilling to accept defeat and wanted to coerce the Ni sect, probably having promised the other 2 sects some kind of reward, hence today's meeting. To put it bluntly, it was about bullying the weak Ni sect and stealing resources that rightfully belonged to them. The 3 from Han sect glared angrily at each other. Chen was about to speak when the white-robed old man from Dao Academy, who had been keeping his eyes closed as if asleep, opened his eyes. Alright, let's decide this way. We've already reported this to the upper sect, and they've agreed. Entering the secret realm requires months and years, but entering the inheritance area can be opened sooner with the combined efforts of our 3 sects. Brother Han, what do you think? The old man turned to Han Zong. Han Zong remained silent. He understood that if he disagreed, the 3 sects would join forces against him. Besides, the upper sect had already given permission. The Reverse River sect had no choice but to agree. A celestial being? As long as the Reverse River sect obtains a celestial being, everything will completely change. Han Zong suppressed his anger and nodded. Very well, if that's the case, I won't bother you any longer. We'll meet again in the secret realm a month from now. The old man in the white robe smiled, stood up, and left. The Extreme River Institute followed. The red-haired old man from the Star River Institute followed last, turning back to look at Han Zong near the door, leaving him with a single sentence. That's right, I forgot to mention earlier. To enter the secret realm and the land of inheritance, only those who have formed a golden core within the age of 60 are eligible. The old man's words caused the 3 Han Zong disciples to change their expressions. Seeing the three figures of Han Zong, Feng Shenzi, and Qi Han ancestor frown, the red-haired old man sneered contemptuously, flicked his sleeve, and left. The cultivators of the three sects outside the main hall flew onto their sect's flying artifacts and arrogantly departed. Damn it! Qi Han glared, gnashing his teeth in anger. So that's it. It's a pity we didn't know the rules of this place. Feng Shenzi frowned, his eyes gloomy. Forging a golden core before 60 years old. This isn't difficult for a mid-level sect in the cultivation world with abundant spiritual energy and vast resources. But it's too difficult for a lower-level cultivation world. Han Zong smiled bitterly, suddenly remembering, and turned to look at Bai Xiaochun. Feng Shenzi and Qi Han also looked at Bai Xiaochun. Bai Xiaochun was frightened by the three's gaze and instinctively took a few steps back. That three ancestors, Izikun, it's all because our reverse river sect is too weak. That's why we're being bullied like this. That's right, Zikun, in the entire reverse river sect. You're the only one under 60 who has reached the golden core stage. Tanger, you're the sect's young ancestor. This matter determines the future development of the sect. It's very important. The three old men, Feng Shenzi, tried to persuade him. Their words different, but their earnest eyes were identical. Bai Zikun was bewildered. The reason sounded good, but for some reason, seeing the three old men looking at him expectantly, his heart trembled with unease. When others came to the inheritance land, other sects probably had 7, 8, or even a dozen people, while he was alone. Just thinking about that image filled Bai Xiaochun with fear, especially since he had just arrogantly brought misfortune to the Star River Academy and threatened both the Extreme River Academy and the Dao River Academy. That ancestor, I was hiding my age. Really? Bai Xiaochun stammered. Things have come to this point. I am the sect's young ancestor. I can't continue to hide it anymore. Actually, when I came up the mountain back then, I wasn't in my teens. I was already over 40. But because I'm small, I look younger than my age. This is wrong of me. I must tell everyone the truth. I can't let this jeopardize the sect's important affairs. Bai Xiaochun's tone was remorseful, and he lowered his head. Ancestor, I feel very uneasy. Thinking that I'm so old and yet I'm hiding my age from the sect. It really hurts. I want to go into seclusion. After saying this, Bai Xiaochun hurriedly ran out of the main hall. Qi Han frowned, and Feng Shenzi was also worried. The two were about to speak when Han Zong had an idea and said bitterly, Zikun, if you don't want to go, then so be it. Bai Zikun was already near the door. Who said our reverse river sect is too weak? We don't even have a single core formation cultivator below 60. We'll definitely continue to be bullied by the three sects in the future, and we probably won't be able to stay in the middle ranks for long. Han Zong continued. Bai Zikun's steps flowed, his heart heavy with worrying. But it's all right. You're the most important thing, Zikun. The sect is your home. We are your family. We won't force you. Even if we are bullied, we will definitely protect you. Protect all the disciples in the sect. Bai Zikun was already at the door, his heart even more conflicted. Then so be it. Our reverse river sect will let go. Feng Shenzi Qi Han, don't try to persuade me anymore. Let's just decide like this. Han Zong seemed to have aged considerably, his voice full of weariness and sadness. Bai Zikun stopped. What, Feng Shenzi? What are you saying? No, we absolutely cannot let Zikun go alone. Although we all know we're sure to lose, we must at least lose with some dignity. Ah, I remember now. I remember Zikun once said that as long as the sect exists, he will exist. We've been very good to him, but never mind, don't say any more. Qi Han, don't send me any more messages. I've made up my mind. Even if Zikun has a supreme treasure protecting him, is a heavenly Dao golden core cultivator, and has a powerful cultivation body, killing him would require a nascent soul cultivator. Otherwise, it's impossible. Moreover, death is not allowed in the struggle for the inheritance. This is the rule of the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect, as it's where the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect selects disciples, but Bai Zikun is our young ancestor. Even if he's not in danger, we can't let him be in any danger. Han Zong shouted. Bai Xiaochun gritted his teeth, turned around, looked at the three ancestors, and cried out mournfully, I'm leaving, okay, don't say any more. Han Zong stood up abruptly, walked over, and patted him hard on the shoulder. Good boy, it's decided. This is the Jade Slip. Everything related to the inheritance land is in it. Study it carefully. Then get ready. In a month, the three of us will see you off. Han Zhang spoke extremely quickly and in a flash, disappeared. Feng Shenzi and Jihan looked at Bai Xiaojun admiringly, then quickly teleported away as well, as if afraid he would change his mind. Bai Xiaojun's eyes widened, staring blankly at the empty hall, and he raised his hand to grab his hair. That cunning old fox, that scoundrel, he doesn't know the rules at all. He clearly knows everything. He's been digging a trap for me from the beginning. Bai Xiaojun was utterly dejected, feeling that he was too naive. He stepped outside and looked up at the sky, filled with sorrow. He dragged himself back to his cave dwelling, feeling sorry for himself. He had to fight against so many people from the three sects alone. Just thinking about it was terrifying. Just me alone. No, there's also Tai Dan. Tai Dan also meets the criteria. With Tai Dan, we'll have two people. What do we do now? What if they bully me? Bai Xiaojun sighed, dejectedly picking up the Jade Slip and beginning to read. The Jade Slip contained very detailed information. There were a total of 100 inheritances. Last time, the Void River Academy produced 13 suitable individuals, forcefully seizing 30 portions. Although none of them successfully comprehended the inherited techniques, when combined, it helped the Void River Academy obtain 3/10 of the resources allocated, thus leaving the Star River Academy ranked last, with only 1/10. The percentage allocation and rules for the inheritance land were set by the Starry Sky Dao Extreme Sect, and no one could change them. Bai Xiaojun sighed, and it wasn't until several days later that he reluctantly accepted the reality. Damn it, I'm leaving. I'm going. Bai Xiaojun thought for a moment, deciding to exchange for many runes for safety. He had bought these runes on credit, and then he went to the artifact pavilion and bought quite a few artifacts on credit. Finally, he prepared a lot of armor and leather armor, plundering the sect's resources to refine the turtle rune cauldron. He gritted his teeth and went to ask the five-colored fire ancestor, taking out everything and refining everything 5 times. In just 1 month, he had used up a lot of resources, only then feeling somewhat at ease. He then went to the Zhuangxi lineage to ask for formations, to the Zhuangxi lineage to ask for spirit blood, and finally to the Dangxi lineage to ask for spirit medicine. For the remaining half-month, Bai Xiaojun focused on cultivation. By the end, although his cultivation hadn't broken through, it had improved considerably. Especially the immortal tendon, his left big toe had been successfully trained, and every time he exerted force, he felt an incredible spring from that toe. And each time he did, it tore his shoes. Therefore, Bai Xiaojun prepared many shoes for his left foot. Finally, the last day arrived. Early in the morning, Bai Xiaojun, carrying the cauldron and wearing several layers of leather armor and a suit of armor covered with countless runes, walked dramatically to the peak of Nip Mountain. Behind him was Tai Dan, also wearing armor and covered with runes.